Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did a farewell interview. The club posted it. Solskjaer got upset towards the end of the interview. Solskjaer was sacked by Manchester United as manager today, following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Reflecting on the defeat to Watford, Manchester United have lost 4 of their last 5 in the Premier League, and Man United have only won 1 of their last 7 in all competitions. Watford was Solskjaer's final game in charge of Man United. After the 4-1 defeat to Watford, Solskjaer said his goodbyes to the players and the staff. Michael Carrick has taken over as the interim manager. Manchester United are looking to appoint an interim manager until the end of the season. Manchester United paid Solskjaer around 7.75 million, because in the summer he did sign a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Solskjaer was sacked after almost 3 years in charge. Despite Solskjaer getting sacked, we all adore Solskjaer, and we always will adore Solskjaer, reflecting on what he's done for the club. You know, Solskjaer will always be a legend of Manchester United. Solskjaer was a very good player. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer's most iconic moment as a player was when he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final at the Nou Camp back in 1999. He won the club the treble, and that is the club's greatest achievement. Solskjaer had a proven pedigree when he was a player for United, but unfortunately doesn't have a proven pedigree as a manager. The club Solskjaer has managed in his managerial career, he managed Manchester United's reserve team for a couple of years. He also managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was terrible. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. Cardiff sacked Solskjaer because he got them relegated. Solskjaer managed Molde. He enjoyed 2 spells with them. Won a few Norwegian titles with Molde, but they're not a big club. And of course he managed Manchester United's senior squad. By the way, Solskjaer is now taking a break from management after being sacked by Manchester United. I do feel sorry for Solskjaer, because reflecting on our poor performances, not all of the blame stemmed from him. Yes, he was partly to blame because his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but there was also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. But Solskjaer was never capable of winning trophies as Manchester United manager. He didn't win a trophy as Man United manager, unfortunately. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. And this season was Solskjaer's 3rd full season. The expectations were far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager, and he was in a position that he shouldn't have really been in. Solskjaer is the fourth permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And now obviously Solskjaer. So Man United are now looking for a 5th permanent manager. Solskjaer did get appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim manager. And to his credit, he did very well as the interim manager in that 3-month period. So reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. But all he knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United, it was going to be a massive job. And not only a massive job, a difficult job as well, because Solskjaer was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. And don't get me wrong, there was positives to take from Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United. There wasn't all negatives. I think when Solskjaer was Man United manager, he developed the youth well. In certain aspects, he brought consistency back. Some progress was made under him because Solskjaer got us to semi-finals. He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final last season, and he got us to the Europa League final last season, and that was Ollie's first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately we didn't win it. So there you go. And last season, Ollie got us a 2nd place finish, and in his first full season, he got us a 3rd place finish. Solskjaer also made good signings when he was Man United manager. Solskjaer did sign 14 players. In the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he did recommend Edison Cavani and Donny van der Beek, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And in this year's summer transfer window, he recommended Heaton in, Sancho, Varane and re-signed Ronaldo after 12 years. Man United spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era, and Ollie did enjoy like 5 transfer windows when he was Man United manager. And Ollie got rid of a lot of players as well when he was Man United manager. He loaned players out, and he also got rid of a lot of players permanently. So there are the positives. But Solskjaer, I think, did everything he could, and unfortunately it didn't work out for him. It was obvious he could not take this team any further. And I'm not surprised that he's been sacked, because it was inevitable, the sacking, wasn't it? To be honest with you, Solskjaer should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, because if we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Man United would have got Conte. And after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool, it said Ollie had been given 3 games to save his job, and he only won 1 of them 3 games. Now, on my last video, I was talking with you about Zinedine Zidane and Mauricio Pochettino. Now, it's recently said that Zinedine Zidane has turned down the Manchester United job, as he's not ready for the Premier League at the moment, and PSG want Zinedine Zidane? Well, it said earlier on in the week that Zinedine Zidane turned down Manchester United as he pretty much agreed to take the France job. And it said Zidane is not available until the summer. Not so long ago, though, it did say that Zidane was interested in the Manchester United job. But it did say that there was a problem because Zidane's wife wasn't attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. I reckon Zidane would be the man for Manchester United. I think if Zidane came in, he'd get the best out of these group of players. He'd get us back to that level where we should be at. He would certainly suit the strappings of the club. And I think he would be capable of winning trophies. So they are the reasons. And Zidane has never managed in the Premier League, so it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer. You've got to admire what Zidane did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies with them, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. Ronaldo wants Zidane at Man United. He made that clear the other week, obviously when Solskjaer was in charge still. And Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane should actually persuade him to join. Pochettino, Sky Sports News have said today that Mauricio Pochettino is Manchester United's first choice to take over as manager next summer. He did say the other week that Pochettino will consider a return to the Premier League on his next job. Pochettino is PSG's boss. He's got a full season left on his PSG contract. I do think Pochettino is a good manager, even though he hasn't really won anything. Pochettino's obviously managed in the Premier League before because he enjoyed a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham, and he's managed Southampton before. Don't forget, we was in talks with Pochettino when he was managerless. Brendan Rodgers, he's still being mentioned a lot. Now, obviously, prior to the Watford game, it said Brendan Rodgers distances himself from the Man United job. Rodgers said the rumours linking him with the job at Man United are not true, and he's proud to be at Leicester. Not so long ago, he was house hunting in Cheshire, so that stirred some suggestions up. And it did mention that Brendan Rodgers was the favourite to replace Solskjaer at Man United. Well, the Manchester Evening News said earlier on in the season that Man United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause. And earlier on in the season, it said Brendan Rodgers had already verbally agreed to become Man United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season, as he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. But you've got to admire what Rodgers has done at Leicester. He's won 2 trophies with them so far. That's the Community Shield and the FA Cup. Got a contract with Leicester till 2025, and he's been Leicester manager for almost 3 years. But I don't know if Brendan Rodgers would be the right manager for Man United, but let's put it this way, he's a far superior manager to Solskjaer. Erik ten Hag, he's still being spoken about. I'm hearing that he wants the Man United job. There's a lot of United fans that would like to see him come in. You've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's won a few trophies with them, and he's been Ajax manager for 4 years. I was hearing today as well that Laurent Blanc could take over as the interim manager. But like I say, Manchester United have got a very, very good squad. But the reason we haven't been getting the best out of a lot of the players is because we have been a team of individuals. We haven't been playing as an actual team. And obviously, of course, the players weren't playing for Solskjaer. But hopefully when we do get a full-time manager, we will start playing as a team. You know, look who we've got. You know, we've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo got the assist for Donny van de Beek's goal in the 4-1 defeat to Wolves. Ronaldo has got 9 goals so far in all competitions since he re-signed. Not so long ago, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month for October. He also got named Premier League Player of the Month for September, so reflecting on that, he's got back-to-back awards. Does Ronaldo actually regret rejoining Manchester United? I think he will regret rejoining Man United because I don't think he was expecting this to happen when he re-signed for the club. Ronaldo has won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. You know, Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo receives 480 grand a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. Ronaldo wears a number 7 shirt, and we got him for 19.8 million with add-ons included. And you've also got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. Greenwood didn't play against Watford because Greenwood is out with COVID. He's out for a few weeks, I think, with COVID. Greenwood has scored 4 goals in the league so far this season. At one point, though, Greenwood did go a while without scoring. But despite that, he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. Most of the time, Greenwood plays on the right wing. You've got Jadon Sancho, that's a good player overall. But he's been poor so far for Manchester United. But hopefully when we get a new manager in, we'll get the best out of Jadon Sancho. It does take some players time to settle in, and I said providing that Sancho's used correctly, he'll do well. There's been quite a few games though that Sancho hasn't even played in. You know, we got Sancho in a deal worth 78 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till June 2026 as an option of a further year. And you know, you've got Marcus Rashford, that's also a good player as well. He's done well in quite a few games since he's come back. But on the other side of things, there's been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. At one point, Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while. And at one point, he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Most of the time now, Rashford plays on that left wing. We need to keep him there. That's where he's mostly effective. He's far superior on the left wing to the right wing and up top. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got a contract with Man United till 2023. You've got Edison Cavani, that's also a good player as well. But unfortunately, I think Cavani's leaving Manchester United next year. I can't say I want him to leave though, with the impact he's made since he's come in. Cavani, he's out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his Man United contract. It was back in May Cavani signed that 1-year contract extension. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. We did get Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. And you've also got Bruno Fernandes, that's a world-class player as well. But Fernandes was poor in the 4-1 defeat to Watford, and he was poor in the 2-0 defeat to Man City. He's had quite a few games where he's looked off the pace, but he's been consistent in a lot of games for Man United. Fernandes starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. Brought Fernandes in from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Last season, didn't he get named Player of the Month a few times, and he got named Player of the Year, reflecting on his good performances. Earlier on this season, Fernandes did make it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. He did say when he first came to Man United that I've come to Manchester to win trophies. At the moment, Fernandes has got a contract with the club till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. But he is one of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. And you've also got Paul Pogba. That's a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Is Paul Pogba. Because Pogba did enjoy a good start to the Premier League season, so far. Pogba has got 7 assists in the league. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season. Pogba may never play for the club again anyway, because Pogba's missing the rest of 2021 by the looks of things, because Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training the other week. And I've heard not so long ago that Man United are prepared to sell Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it's better to cash in for Pogba in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Reports from France said the other week, though, that Pogba wants to renew his contract with Man United. That's only if he's made the Premier League's highest paid player. So he did say, I want to overtake Ronaldo. Pogba's one of the highest paid players as it stands. At the moment, Pogba receives around 290 grand a week on his current contract, and his current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined. Pogba's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. And you've got Donny van der Beek, that's also a good player as well, but Donny van der Beek doesn't get enough game time at Man United. Prior to the Watford game, Van der Beek confirmed that he will be leaving the club in January. Unless under the next manager Van der Beek gets a lot more game time. He didn't get enough game time under Solskjaer. And you've got Wan-Bissaka, that's defensively superb, but the attacking side of his game is poor. There is aspects of Wan-Bissaka's game that's got to improve. He's got to show more attacking intent. His positioning's got to improve. His crossing has to improve as well. But despite that, he's still one of the best right-backs we've had since Gary Neville is Bissaka. This season is Bissaka's 3rd full season at Man United. We got him for 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. And you've got Eric Bailly, that's a good centre-half as well. But Bailly doesn't really get in the team, does he? He lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and obviously Lindelof's been preferred ahead of Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. Like I said, Bailly's made 3 appearances this season so far. My concern about Bailly is injury prone. Towards the end of last season, he signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly's been at the club for like 5.5 years now. Got him for 30 million from Villarreal back in 2016. And you've also got Varane. That's a very good centre half, but Varane is out with a hamstring injury at the moment. I think he's out for another 2 to 3 weeks. That's the second injury he's endured at Man United, Varane, because he was out with a groin injury not so long ago, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. Varane's had some good games at Man United, but he's also had a couple of bad games. We got Varane in a deal worth, 41 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. He's regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world because he's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. And he was a long-serving player at Real Madrid as well. You know, you've got Luke Shaw and Maguire that are good when they want to be, but they certainly haven't proven how good they can be this season because the duo have been terrible. You know, Maguire, he got sent off in the game against Watford, so he'll be missing the game against Chelsea next week. Maguire's actually been worse since he came back from that calf injury. He's been a lot worse, should I say. Man United overpaid for Maguire, got him for 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club behind Pogba. And as for Luke Shaw, where's the Luke Shaw from last season? Because last season, Luke Shaw was absolutely superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years now, so he has been a long-serving player. And I do think he's had a good career at Man United, despite the injuries he's had. You know, he is injury-prone, Luke Shaw, and he's been our first-choice left-back for a while. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract at Man United. But I am convinced now that Shaw and Maguire will regain their form. Now that obviously Ollie's gone. De Gea, you know, he's also a very good goalkeeper as well. I've got to give De Gea credit. I think he's done really, really well so far this season. You know, De Gea did well against Watford even though we lost 4-1 because De Gea saved 2 penalties and there was also some other good saves he made as well, and he did well against Man City. He saved us from an humiliation against Man City because I recall him making 4 fantastic saves in that first half against Man City. You know, this season is De Gea's 11th season at Man United, so he's been a very long servant. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's got under 2 years left on his contract. He receives £375,000 a week. This season, though, De Gea made up for the mistakes he made in the last couple of years. He's won everything domestically at the football club, De Gea, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. De Gea reclaimed that number 1 spot back because in the summer, De Gea decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting place. And he did say he was determined to fight for his Man United future. So there you go, and you've also got Dean Henderson, that's a good goalkeeper. But Henderson doesn't get in there now because De Gea reclaimed the number 1 spot back. Like I said, Henderson wants to go out on loan next year. So there you go. There's good players at Manchester United. You know, there's inconsistent players as well, though. You've got Martial, that's not good enough to represent the club, but he doesn't really get in the team anyway. You've got Lingard, who isn't good enough to represent the club, doesn't really get in the team. You've got Fred and McTominay. They're not good enough to represent the club, and Fred and McTominay have played a hell of a lot of games together in that centre midfield. Matic, he isn't good enough to represent the club. Lindelof, he's not good enough to represent the club. Jones, he's not good enough to represent the club. You know, doesn't get in the team anyway. But like I say, Man United are going to be offloading players next year. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. I'll back on with more videos, I think, tomorrow now, unless there's any more news. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, my name's Red Devil 24, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.